Okay, hi, a very good morning once again. Now we move on with our next topic. So I think in the previous tutorial, if you've already watched it, we discussed about the first method to find your mean, and that was using your direct method. Now we move on to the second method where we still find the mean, but now we'll be using a different method, and that method is called your shortcut method. And this is the formula that we will be applying to go ahead and get your mean using your shortcut method. Okay, and the formula says it is a plus the bracket. This is sigma fd divided by sigma f, and I've already mentioned what this symbol stands for, but still for some of you, if you have gone through the previous tutorial, you will know what that means. But if someone hasn't gone through it, then this symbol, the name is sigma, and it stands for total. Okay, and f in this formula stands for frequency, and frequency, as I told you in the previous tutorial and the previous method, that the second column in the question is your frequency. Like this is the question, then this column is your column for your frequency. So then the new thing over here is something called A. Now what is A? A is called your assumed mean. The name is assumed mean, and what is assumed mean will come when we go ahead and give you an example of how to, when we solve the sums. Okay, but usually you should know one important thing is that assumed mean that we take as A is always chosen from mid values. That means we don't randomly take any value to be as an A or assumed mean. We have to choose wisely. And where do we choose from? Once we get the mid values in your question now, okay, and then from the mid values that we have to choose A. Like let's say for example, if you have gone through the previous tutorial, okay, like let's say for example, if this was the case, okay, so if I have these as my mid values, then which is the one? Okay, then 1 2 3 4 5, there are 5 of them. Okay, we choose the A from here, and which one do we choose? Which of these 5 lies exactly in the middle? If I look closely, I think 25 lies exactly in the middle, because if I choose 15, then there is only one above it and there are 3 values below it, so I can't call that as the middle. So what if I choose 35? Then there are 3 values at the top and only 1 value at the bottom, not in the middle. But if I choose 25, then I have 2 values above it, 2 values below it, so this lies exactly in the middle. So if this was the question, I would have chosen 25 to be as my assumed mean or my A. Is that okay? So now, then what is D? D is the formula is x minus A. Now how to get all this will come one by one. Okay, so now let's say for example, if this is the question and if it says find the mean using the shortcut. So again, the various steps. Okay, step 1. So what do you have to do first is you'll again have to find the mid values of all the intervals. Okay, you'll have to find the mid values of all the intervals. These are called the intervals. I think I've already told you in a direct method that these are called the intervals. This is called the first interval, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so for each interval you'll have to find the mid values. And how do I find the mid values? We have already discussed previously, but if someone has forgotten, then we simply have to add them and divide it by 2. Now what are them means, like if I have an interval which says 30 to 40, okay, this is the interval, and if I have to get the mid value of this, we simply add the 2 of them. Okay, I add the 2 of them and I divide by 2, then I get 70 by 2, that is 35. So that is how we go ahead and get the mid values of any interval. You simply have to add the values in that interval divided by 2. Like first it says get the mid value, and I know mid value is named as x. So for the first interval 0 and 10, add them divided by 2. 0 and 10 gives me 10 divided by 2, 5, 10 and 20, 30 divided by 2, 15, 50 divided by 2, 25, 35, 45. Those are my mid values. Okay, so first I got my mid values. Then step 2. Step 2 is you have to choose A. Now we said A is chosen from the mid values. So now these are the mid values. So we have to choose A, and we had told you that we have to go ahead and usually choose the middle one, and then we, rather than randomly selecting any value from x as the assumed mean, we said we'll choose the middle one. So this looks like it lies exactly in the middle. So my A is equals to 25 for this particular question. So for this particular question, A is 25. But every time it's not 25. It could be some other values also. But right now in this particular question, 25 lies exactly in the middle. So we have chosen 25 to be as our assumed mean. Okay. If sometimes 35, sometimes 45, sometimes 28, whatever, at any value that comes exactly in the middle of your mid value, that we choose as your A. So A is also done. Now, third step, what we do is we have to find a new column called D, and we know that D is equals to what? X minus A. So we know the next column that we have to find is D, that is equal to X minus A. Okay, so now, so the formula says X minus A. So for the first one, what is the first X? Okay, so it is equals to what? 5. So we have 5 minus A minus 25. What do I get? Equals to minus 20. So my first D is equals to minus 20. Is that okay? You don't have to show all of this over here. Okay, you can simply do this in the rough and you can straight away write minus 20 as the first D. But some of them, they may get confused. That's the only reason why I'm showing you over here, because the formula says X minus A. So the first X is 5. So I wrote 5 minus, and then A we have chosen as 25. So 5 minus 25 is minus 20. So the second one becomes 15 now. Because how 15? Because the next X is 15 minus 25. That comes out to be minus 10. So the next D is minus 10. What about the third X? The formula still remains the same for each and every mid value. Third X is 25 minus A is also 25. So it's 25 minus 25, that is equal to 0. And the next X is 35 minus A is equal to 25, that is equal to 10. So the next X is equal to 45 minus, again the A is 25, and that is equal to 25. Okay, so how did I get this understood? Because X, the formula is X minus A. So the first X is X, minus 25 is A. Next X is 15, I put that minus A. Next X is 25 minus A. Next X is 35 minus A. Next X is 45 minus A. And then we get, these are the values, okay, we get for your D. Clear? And then the step 4. Now step 4, what we have to do is we have to go ahead and find FD. That means you'll have to multiply the F and D. So multiply the column F and multiply the column D, and whatever answer you get, you'll have to put that as FD. So we get FD. So this is the column for your F, and this is the column for your D. So remember, these are not D. That's what I said. Exams, you don't have to show all of this. You can just do it in the rough, and then you can simply write the answers. These are the answers for your D. So that's why I've highlighted it, I've circled it, so that you don't get confused. So it says F and D has to be multiplied. So the first F over here is this, gets multiplied with this D. So 3 into minus 20 gives me a minus 60, because this is your F and that's your D. So what's the second F? It's 2, and your second D is minus 10. So minus 20. Third is 1, and your next is D is 0, 1 into 0 is 0. Then we have 4 as the next one into D, that is 4 and 10 is 40. And then we have 5, and then we have 25. It's 125. Is that okay? Clear? Is that okay or not? So this is what we go ahead and get this, okay? So 45 minus 25 is not a 25, sorry, it's a 20. And then this becomes hundreds. Okay, I made an error over here. So 45 minus 25, I had written it as 25. It's not 25, it's a 20. So then we get this as 100. Okay, so we have got a next step also, that is we have got a FD. Now step 5, what we have to do is step 5, find total of frequency, just like in the direct method. Get the total of frequency, we'll call that as sigma F. So the frequencies over here, get a total of it. I add them, total means 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 15. So sigma F is equals to 15. Okay, so we got our sigma F as 15. Now step 6, what do? Again, find total of your FD, and we call it sigma FD. And why do we have to find? Because the formula says I need sigma FD. That's why we have to get the total of FD. Now over here, this is FD, we have to get a total of this one. But in this, we have negative values also, we have positive values also. So how do I get a total? So in the rough, if I were you, if you can do it directly in your mind, you can do it mentally, good for you. In case anyone has any question, problem, then you take it in the rough. So just take the negatives first. Negatives is minus 60 and minus 20. What do I get? I get minus 80. So I take the positives again aside and I get this and I get positive 140. Then you solve the two of them. So first get the answer of a negative, get the answer of a positive, then sign of the greater one comes and I get 60. So the total of sigma FD is equal to plus 60. That's my answer. Is that okay? Now once I've done your step 6, then I move on to step 7. Step 7 is after getting all this, please apply the formula. Okay, and the formula to find a mean using a shortcut is A plus bracket sigma FD divided by sigma F. So what was A? We had already chosen A from the mid value. We had chosen the middle one and that was 25 for this particular question. So we write 25 plus what is sigma FD? We've already got the answer of sigma FD to be as 60 divided by, it says sigma F we've already got it as 15. Okay, if they can be cancelled, cancel. If they can't be cancelled, you just divide, get in decimals, but I think it can get cancelled. 15 ones are 15 fours are, so we get 25 plus 4, we get the answer as 29. So the mean for this particular question, okay, using a shortcut was equals to 29. Okay, and mind you, so I said we have various methods. We had discussed direct method in the previous question or in the previous tutorial. So whether you solve one question using shortcut or direct method, or the third method is step deviation, it doesn't matter whichever method you use. If you are solving the same question, whichever method you use, you will get the same answer. It's just that the method will be different. Okay, so in case someone has already gone through the direct method, the tutorial, then for this question I solved it using shortcut. You solve using a direct method and cross check whether the answer you get 29 or not. If you do not get 29, means there's something wrong. You've made some errors, because I said if it's one question, whichever method I solve, I still will get the same answer. Okay, so that is how we go ahead and solve using your shortcut method. So if there is any confusion, any question, please do let me know. Okay, so that's it for the time being. Thank you very much.